Alrighty, everybody. Let's do it. Here we are, Wednesday, March 6th. Pretty big slate, 10-gamer. My first look through has it really flat from a value perspective, so I'm anxious to get your thoughts. But how's West Coast living this week?
It's been good for most of the week. Today it's a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah, it's not going to get much better, I would imagine. And next week is really going to be just different level
Yeah.
of miserable for you.
Yeah, I think I'm finally adjusting to like times being what they're supposed to be, so that's gonna make the rest of the week suck.
Yeah, for sure. How much? Let's see. What was the weirdest? I guess. How much Ben or Gordon Hayward did you have last night? 50.4 FanDuel points last night in 27 and a half minutes.
I'm not sure, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah. Everybody else at the top is relatively normal. Towns, Westbrook, Conley, Simmons, Harris, Harden.
Yeah, and you're still naming a bunch of guys that I don't have. So.
Oh God. El Negro Loco. Are you guys starting earlier now? This is pretty on brand for you and I.
I mean, it's earlier for me because of the time difference. But
yeah, it being 6:23 for you right now must be a real kick in the balls.
It's not fun.
I'm sure it's not. Normal housekeeping. NBA strategy is the promo code. 50% off your first month with us. Any monthly package you choose, including ones with Fantasy Cruncher, you'll get 50% off. And as normal, on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we are brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. If you go to bit.ly/awesomeo, you can get $10 on your first $10 deposit, $20 on 100, and $50 on 200. Thrive is a new DFS site that focuses on player props. They give you a list of 20. You got to pick your favorite 10. You get a certain amount of points whether you go over or under. At the end of the show, Adam and I will go through our favorite 5. Probably gear up for our first head-to-head on Friday. Does that work for you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. There we go. So at the end, on Friday, we'll talk about a little bit about it, but Adam and I are going to do what do you think, best of 7?
Yeah.
Best of 7 head-to-head contest on Thrive. Winner gets a t-shirt. Yeah. I mean,
I
get a t-shirt. What'd you say?
I said it should last 4 days.
Man, if I get swept, that'd be brutal. Give me the gentleman's sweep. At least let me get a home game.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to sandbag with our picks in the morning.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Do we care?
I want to win.
I mean, we're gonna talk about this. So that we're going to talk about every game before we do this. If I can't figure out the guys that you're going to like more on Thrive after that, I mean, is talking about it in Thrive specifics really going to make the difference? If you're like, yeah, I really love Luka tonight, and I look at it and Luka's at like 21 and a half points and you get 110 for the over, I'm just going to assume that Luka's one of your props.
Yeah, that's true.
I doubt that you do something that catches me off guard and vice versa.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially because, I mean, what's been like 3 shows in a row now that you've guessed which one I'm going to pick.
Exactly. And not to mention, that's 9 hours later, 10 hours later, things will change based on news, just making guys more and less appealing. So I think we'll be all right. I don't know. When I win the first one and you cry about it because I had too much information or something, we'll figure out what we need to do for the second one. Sound about right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm glad we agree that I'm going to win the first one. Alrighty, we've got a lot to talk about, and it's gonna take us a while. So here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. I look to my left because that's looking at you, and when I said "Are you ready?" it's just me not looking at you. I should have just looked down, even though I wouldn't have been able. It's not important. Charlotte Hornets hosting Miami Heat. 110.5 implied total for the Hornets. 107.5 for the Heat. I'm on the Cavs, so that's not helpful. A little bit of a pace down spot for the Hornets. Really just unappealing overall total. Is MKG just like done now? He has not played in the last 2 games. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's weird.
I certainly didn't see them dusting off Frank the Tank for 20 plus minutes in 2 straight. Did you project MKG in?
That would involve my laptop loading correctly. I don't think so.
Okay, neither did I. Ex-Cossack. MKG has been done for over a year. I mean, yeah. From a skill standpoint, you might be right. Yeah, I have Frank in, which is disgusting. But let's talk Charlotte. We'll start in the same spot we always start. Kemba Walker, 9,300 on FanDuel, 8,300 on DraftKings, $38 on Yahoo. And I feel like I've said this, I don't know, 40 times this year since the Hornets lead off more often than not. Whatever Kemba I get, I'm cool with. It's a 10-game slate, 8,300. He can certainly hit a ceiling. I'm just totally indifferent.
Yeah. And a lot of the time I've been like a little bit higher or lower than you, depending on the slate. But that's where I'm at too. I mean, the price tag on him, like there's clearly a ceiling, but there are also a lot of point guards up at the top here who I like. I like their spots a little bit better. So I imagine I'll get a pretty healthy amount because of how many minutes he plays, and obviously how high his ceiling is for 8,300. But you still have a lot of other guys in that price range.
Yep. There is one guy on this team though that I will look to get to quite a bit. Jeremy Lamb. He's 6,800 on FanDuel, which isn't terribly appealing, but he is 5,200 on DK. That's a fantastic price point. Do you have an interest in Lamb?
Yeah, no question. The minutes have been there. The price tag is very appealing. We know that he can produce over a fantasy point per minute when he plays well. The matchup sucks, but the price tag I think is just too low.
Works for me. But I don't have a ton of interest on FanDuel, but DK is definitely the spot you're looking for. We do have ownership. Let me grab that now. We can touch on this. I assume Jeremy Lamb is chalky. If he is not, even better.
If he's not, he will be by the 6:30 update.
You would think. Yep, number 1 on DraftKings. So great.
Yeah, Jeremy Lamb chalk never fails.
No, it doesn't. Alrighty. Yeah, Kemba a little bit more owned than I have him right now. Not something that I'm going to be paying attention to all that aggressively. Lamb, 31% on DraftKings, highest number on the board. I actually came in a little bit under that, so that'll get that should be fun. Can't blame. I get it. I understand why the public would be there. It's a fantastic price on a 10-game slate with very little value to be found right now. Do you want to point out anybody else, particularly Frank the Tank?
I mean, at 24 minutes, he looks like a good play at 3,200.
Yes, he does. Obviously, a lot easier to do on FanDuel just because you have the built-in excuse if it bails that you can just drop it. But for $3,200, he looks like a pretty tasty value play. And 3% expected ownership, which is something that I would like to maintain. But yeah,
I mean, it scares me, obviously, because
he can just not play.
Right. I mean, their rotation's been inconsistent all season long. You even have their coach talking about how he looks to vary his rotation based on games. So it certainly could not work.
Yeah. As of right now, for all the information that we have, I like Frank the Tank. He's probably my, I don't know, like, it's hard to say it the way that I'm about to say it, but he's probably my second favorite thing on the Hornets, slightly ahead of Kemba. But, I mean, we are comparing apples and coffee cups.
Right.
Like, they are not even remotely in this. Kemba's like 60% better than him on a per minute basis. Will play, I don't know, 13 minutes more at the opposite positions. They're just, one's a little dude, one's a tall, gangly dude. It's just, they are very, very different in all aspects. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, looking at DraftKings pricing and having Kaminsky projected for 24 minutes, I still have it Kemba, Lamb, Kaminsky.
Question for you. When you say that, what do you mean? Do you mean like straight value?
Yeah, like factoring in their price, I have Kemba as the best value, then Lamb, then Kaminsky.
Okay. I have Lamb ahead of Kemba, but neither here nor there. Let's head to Miami, I guess. No Dragic, which is helpful. I think we should start at the center rotation. Any thoughts as to how that shakes out? I went heavier on Bam than I did on Whiteside. I don't feel super comfortable with it. And even though that it was, not totally close. At the end of that game, they played center with neither guy for the first time in a while.
Like all season.
Yeah. So what are you feeling about this Miami team? Because there's not much I like outside of one specific spot.
I feel like I wish they weren't on the slate because they are kind of like a good version of the Knicks. I mean, I assume Whiteside starts. Who do you think starts at center?
I mean, based on what I have in here, I guess Bam is my thought process. I really have no idea. I mean, we will get that information before 7:00. So the bigger question is, are you just splitting Whiteside and Bam at center?
Yeah,
okay.
Basically.
Then it doesn't really matter all that much. Neither of them, like Bam needs to start to have any shot of being playable on FanDuel, I would say.
Yeah. And even if he does, I don't think I'm getting there.
No. And on DK, I would essentially ignore him if he's not starting. And I really don't have much interest in him if he is starting. If Whiteside starts, any share you get should be okay. Just there's no need for any sort of volume.
Yeah, I mean, it just scares me because it's such a good matchup.
Yeah.
It's a Charlotte team that gets blocked a ton. It's a very favorable matchup for opposing centers. You have Whiteside at 6,500 on DraftKings. Like if he just comes out of nowhere and plays 28 minutes, he probably breaks the slate.
He could. I haven't looked at it from a positional standpoint, so let me do this one quick. That's not what I want. Center. There we go. Yeah, there's like 15 guys that are solid.
Yeah, center
so I don't know what to do with that sort of information. Whether it's Kaminsky and you're going all the way down, Cornette, JaVale, Alex Len, Nance, Bobby Portis, Al Horford. Like, can you? You need a very specific outcome for Whiteside from a playing time perspective.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Not to say that like if I gave him 26 minutes, he wouldn't be popping up because he certainly would. But
yeah, no, but you need him to A, get those minutes, B, have the type of game he's capable of, and C, no one else around them just have a better game.
Yeah, center is super difficult right now. Only thing that stands out as like really good would be, and really good is relative, Derek Jones Jr. on FanDuel for 3,900. I don't know. James Johnson appears to be like not really a part of the future of the Heat in this season. Maybe. I have no idea if that's just health related or that's the way they're going, but I have Derek Jones Jr. in for 24 minutes, and if that's the case, makes for a nice little punt option on FanDuel.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, it's the same story.
I have him in for like 20, but still.
Okay. Like, any shares you get of Richardson, or everybody knows how to do that. Winslow, same story. Like these guys, the guys that are playable for the Heat are basically where they've been for the whole year. We've talked about them enough.
And actually, I think you're right on Jones' minutes. He was in foul trouble last game.
Okay. Perfect. I like being right. Oh, YouTube will have a field day with that throwaway line. You ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Pistons Wolves. Pistons 114.25 implied total. Timberwolves 108.75. Nice little, what is that? 5.5 point line for the Pistons. Pistons defense has been solid, 3% better than average over their last 15. Slight pace up spot for Detroit. We start in the same spot we always do. Andre Drummond, Blake Griffin, tandem deal. $10K for Drummond on FanDuel, $8,500 for Blake. Drummond is $9K on DraftKings, $8,600 for Blake, and then $44 and $38 respectively on Yahoo. Any preferences here?
Blake because of the position.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
And because that FanDuel price tag is egregious.
It is.
Like
I do like Drummond though on FanDuel for 10K. I don't have a problem there.
No, I like Drummond. It's just that there's a million centers.
Yeah.
Being able to play Blake at power forward at a ridiculous price tag is nice.
It really is. I can't understand. Their pricing has been so weird site to site all season. They just bounce around and like it's as if they don't use the same information to set their salaries. I don't mean like they have different setups, but like it's just one day they're the same price on FanDuel, and then there's a $1,500 gap, but one of them's up $1,500 on DK. There's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, it's weird. And it's especially weird to find a price like that on Blake on FanDuel because they've just been so tight with their pricing this year since they had the drop. They've done actually a pretty good job of having guys priced too high, if anything.
Andre Drummond has been so good lately.
Yeah.
So damn good. Probably playing the best he's ever played. He is 400th of a FanDuel point per minute behind Karl-Anthony Towns right now over the last 30 days.
Yeah, he's playing incredibly well.
So I have no problem with Drummond or Blake on either site. I will have a solid amount of both guys.
Same here.
Yeah. On GK, do you have a preference?
Blake, just because of the position.
Okay.
God, I hate rostering Blake though.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, Thon. Okay, I can't prioritize any of these guys.
That prioritizes in. Oh, never mind. I thought you meant like you couldn't decide how to rank them. I was like, I rank them all as not good.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, okay. Like I have Jackson ahead of the rest of the group, but still not a priority.
Yeah, I think Thon is he power forward or center on FanDuel? I assume power forward, right?
Probably.
Nope, center it is.
If he is, he's a center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I like the idea of using him as a punt, because Zaza is likely out. So if anything happened to Drummond, they don't have a lot of bodies like that.
I have him at like 20 minutes. He's 3,100 on DK with power forward eligibility. So like, if value somehow doesn't open up on a 10-game slate in March, then maybe I'll have some just to hope that I get lucky. But still can't be too confident in it.
I love that you just said that. That was funny. Minnesota. Karl-Anthony Towns, 11.5 on FanDuel, 10.8 on DK, $51 on Yahoo. I would just rather have Drummond on each site tonight. And this is coming from someone that, generally speaking, loves Karl-Anthony Towns, but this is not a great spot for Minnesota. Drummond is $1,500 cheaper on FanDuel. He is $1,800 cheaper on DraftKings and $7 cheaper on Yahoo. I can't justify going to Towns if Drummond is on the slate.
Yeah, it's tough to pay all the way up. And I mean, we have Jokic against the Lakers too.
Right.
It's tough to pay all the way up. Also, because not to say that Towns doesn't have upside and Towns can't be really good. He obviously can. But this is the worst spot possible for Towns as far as Teague's healthy, Wiggins is healthy, and Rose is healthy. So if you look at his numbers since the Butler trade, he's like 1.4 fantasy points per minute when he's playing with Teague and Wiggins, as opposed to jumping up close to 1.6 when Teague's not on the floor. So it's a tough slate to pay all the way up there, and it's just the least appealing spot you're gonna be able to get Towns in.
Oh, Carl, I'm sorry that I'm turning my back on you. Feel bad. I'm the Towns lover.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'm probably not going to have anything from Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, $5,300 Teague on DraftKings is pretty appealing, especially if value doesn't open.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about him on the back-to-back, but I don't disagree that the price is nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like some crazy good play to me, but
no.
Like I like him more than I like Reggie Jackson.
So do I. And I somehow opened up Excel help, which I do not need. Wizard. What'd you say?
I said, I don't know. You kind of suck in Excel.
That's me. It's like the only thing that I'm actually good at in life. Wizards and Mavs. That's sad. That sounded sadder than it is. 118.25 implied total for the Wizards. 112.75 for the Mavs. Your boys are big favorites here. I don't understand why.
They're really good.
Good try. They have the highest implied total on the slate right now.
That's odd.
Yeah, sure. I agree. The matchups are just sort of. I would have expected the Nuggets to have it, but
Yeah, that would have been my guess.
anyway. Brad Beal, 10-5 on FanDuel, 9,800 on DraftKings, 47 on Yahoo. I am in no rush to put him in any lineups, but if you see his name, I'm not bummed about it. It's just he's too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, he grades out as a good play for me. You're getting like 40 minutes in a pretty appealing matchup. Obviously, he's like the offense, but there's not a ton of value as of right now. And there are guys like he's in the same price. Like he's more expensive than Luka. He's relatively close to Jokic. I can't prioritize him over either one of those guys.
Yeah.
So like I'm not going to be upset if I get to Beal, but and also on DraftKings, and it's kind of important. He's one of like the only people on the site that isn't multi-position eligible. Like
so
you have
silly.
to roster him.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb, but it makes it a little bit tougher to get to him. So I haven't projected for over 50 points. I think that he's a really good play in a vacuum. I also would be surprised if he ends up being one of my higher owned guys.
I hear you. One guy I do like quite a bit, Trevor Ariza, 6,100 on FanDuel, 5,900 on DK, 22 on Yahoo. I really like the Ariza 6,100 tag on FanDuel. He is grading out really nicely for me.
It's a nice spot.
That position is garbage.
Yeah.
So using Ariza in a spot like he's chalky, and that always gives me a little bit of pause, especially with this particular team. But gonna play monster minutes, so I wouldn't overlook Ariza. Satoransky, another guy that I tend to have a little bit more than the public, and today will be no different. Talk to me about the rest of the Wizards, though. Who are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, Satoransky at 5,200 on DraftKings is nice in that Jeff Teague, Reggie Jackson price range. I have Satoransky ahead of both of those guys right now. Portis at 6K is fine. Jeff Green at 4,500 is fine. I mean, it's just playing roulette with these bigs. It's annoying because they're productive. All of these guys are productive fantasy players when they get the minutes. It's just a matter of guessing correctly on how it goes. I mean, Thomas Bryant, even at 4,300, like I can't project him for more than 19, 20 minutes. But if Portis gets in foul trouble or something, like Thomas Bryant probably scores 35 points. So it's really tough to predict. I would say that assuming nothing crazy happens, Portis is my favorite, then Green, then Bryant.
Portis. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't. It's really hard to prioritize those guys. I will just probably rotate through because I think that's the only way to do it. What do you think about Parker?
He's my least favorite out of the group just because it's really, really difficult to assign him minutes.
Okay. Ever since Josh and Adam stopped talking shit about Satoransky, he hasn't had a ceiling game.
It's true.
It's super. I wish it wasn't, but it's absolutely true. All right, Dallas side, pace up spot. Not the best game total, but I do like the increased pace. 9,300 on FanDuel, 91 on DK, 42 on Yahoo. How much Luka are you playing tonight?
All of the Luka.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's hard not to. His rates just, since I don't even want to say the deadline, but basically since the deadline, craziness, absolute craziness. Hasn't been shooting the ball as well in that time, but he is going to be one of my higher exposed players. Only 11% ownership on DraftKings. In my first crunch, I got 31, so I am very happy about that.
Yeah, I am gonna have so much Luka.
What else is new?
Yeah, I mean, I had like 67% against Brooklyn, so that was a bad night. Yeah. But going right back to it, I mean, still confused how at the live final on Saturday he was like 9,600 against Memphis, and now we have him at 91 against Washington. But I mean, it's a Washington defense that's not good. They don't defend against threes well. They don't rebound well. Like I don't know how Luka doesn't triple double here.
Uh-oh. He's gonna get it with turnovers tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all over it here. Tim Hardaway for 4,800 on DK. I'm probably going to get a decent amount. Well, not a decent amount. I will be with a little bit over the field. Dwight Powell. I will have Jalen Brunson a little bit on DraftKings for 3,800. Nobody crazy. Luka is the key focus coming out of Dallas.
I'm definitely higher on Dwight Powell than you.
Okay. I have him in for 32 minutes. What do you have in? 34?
36.
Okay. Yeah, you're higher on Dwight Powell than I am. 36.
So he has, in their last 2 competitive games, he's played 37 minutes. He has played 32 in 3 blowouts over his last 5 games. It's a ridiculously good spot against the Wizards.
Yeah, I'm going to go up to 34.
A lot.
34. There we go. Did I not change that? White Powell 30. Yeah, I did. He's at 12% expected ownership on DraftKings. That's basically just where I will be.
Yeah, I imagine that I'll be. I imagine that like him and Jokic are probably my 2 highest owned centers.
Okay. Yeah, I won't have that sort of volume, but he's clearly a good play and clearly the second best play on Dallas.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on Hardaway or Brunson?
Their price tags are appealing. It's a good matchup. Whatever I get, I'm happy with.
$3,300 Dirk?
Sure.
Okay. Hopefully we get enough value by the end of the day that we can just throw that shit in the trash.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about Dirk and Frank Kaminsky, it makes me really excited to play today.
Oh, God. Not while I'm drinking coffee. How many minutes do you have for Luka?
33.
34.
Yeah, I mean, 34 works too.
Sure. Somebody pointed it out in YouTube chat, so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't totally off base. Hawks and Spurs? That there's no way I typed that line incorrectly. The Hawks are absolutely not favored by 5.5. I assume.
No, other way around.
I figured as much. Yeah, not happening.
This is the highest total on the slate. The highest implied total, by the way. The Spurs.
I have it at 116.75.
I have it at 121.
Well, I also typed it in incorrectly before, so who's to say I didn't do that in more than one way? Yeah, whatever I typed in for this one was just a different line. Oh, the other 2 games have lines now. So it was Denver and LA, 5.5, 226. Who was the other game? Who did I make up? Who's got injury news that matters? I don't remember. It could have been that San Antonio Atlanta game for all I know. All right. 120.5 implied total for the Spurs, 114 for the Hawks. So you are right. They have the highest implied total on the slate.
Hey, you were wrong. Everything's back to normal.
I deserve all of that. We'll start on the Atlanta side. Relatively neutral pace spot. Trae Young, 8,400 on FanDuel, 8,800 on DK. It's really hard to not like Trae Young on FanDuel tonight. Whew.
What did you say his price was?
8,400.
Yeah, that's low.
Yeah, considering he's $400 more expensive on DraftKings, I'm going to have a lot of Trae Young on FanDuel. And I'll probably have a little bit on DK. I don't mind 8,800. It doesn't make me feel better, but FanDuel's the place to get Trae Young.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, 8,800 is fine, but it's kind of like it's correct, I think. So I'll get some, but it's not like I'll have way more Luka for $300 more. I imagine I'll have a lot more Kemba for $500 less on DraftKings, but 8,400 on FanDuel is just incorrect.
Yep, 32% expected ownership on Trae Young right now, so keep that in mind. I have John Collins in right now and no real interest in him. We do want to mention no Dwayne Dedmon tonight.
Yeah. So Alex Len.
Come on down.
Wait, is he out too?
Len?
Yeah.
No.
Why don't I have him in minutes?
You're not that good at this. Order's restored. Now you're wrong. But yes, Len is in, Prince is in, and don't worry about anything from like a health standpoint. He was out for the birth of a child, so it's not like he's on a bum knee or something.
Yeah. I do have interest in $7,000 John Collins, though.
How many minutes did you give him?
32.
Okay, I give him 31. I'm a little nervous to just dive right back in with him. He didn't pop a lot for me at that spot. I have his rates higher than he's been the last 30 days, so there's not much that I could do to get to him.
Yeah, if I give him 30, it becomes a lot less exciting.
I hate those guys that like are so dramatically different with a minute change, 2-minute change. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's my top play. Oh, he's 16th.
Right.
There's also a reason to MME, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Len, 4,100 on FanDuel. I hope people overthink it from 2 days ago. I doubt they will. He is at 34% ownership on FanDuel, which is second highest, or tied for the top. I don't like going to him on FanDuel as much as I like paying up for a center, but you still have to have exposure to Len. I have 27% right now, so just a hair under the field.
Yeah, and the answer to why Len had 0 minutes was because for some reason I mixed up him and Dedmon.
Oh, so Dedmon must have looked great tonight.
Yeah, Dedmon's fantastic.
Don't play Dedmon, ladies and gentlemen. That is, in case you're not paying attention all that well, that was a joke. But play Alex Len for sure. 4,500 on DraftKings, 17% expected ownership.
That's weird. It's so much easier to get to him on DraftKings.
It really is.
I mean, just because the opportunity cost isn't nearly as high.
Yeah, but yeah, half the ownership. Crazy.
Although I guess pricing on FanDuel at center is always tougher. So whenever you can get a value center on FanDuel, it opens up a lot.
Yeah. Any interest in Prince for 5K on FanDuel?
Yeah, and 45 on DraftKings.
Sure.
It scares me. It's Taurean Prince.
Yep. That's exactly where I'm at. After that, I'm good.
Should probably get some minutes at the 4 too.
Yeah. I've been in for 30 right now.
Yeah, so do I. I was just thinking like more productive minutes, potentially.
And now to talk about the Spurs, unless you have DeAndre Bembry takes.
No.
Okay. DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge. Highest implied total on the slate. Monster pace up spot. Fantastic defensive matchup for them. DeRozan is 9K on FanDuel, 8,200 on DraftKings, and 37 on Yahoo. Aldridge, 8,200, 7,600, and $30. I like both of these guys pretty aggressively. I guess that I would prefer DeRozan after looking at the ownership. Aldridge is double him on both sites, but I think they are relatively equal in terms of how I feel about them today. So relative to the field, I prefer DeRozan, but ultimately you should just be playing DeRozan and Aldridge.
And White. Yeah. Aldridge is my favorite. I just have him higher than DeRozan.
Do you have Pirtle in?
Yeah.
Okay, so do I.
Is he questionable?
I think so. Nope, that's not how you type that in. Spurs. Yes, questionable.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay. Yeah, it's just not going to get much better than this. And Dedmon being out is a nice little benefit for San Antonio because Len is worse than him.
Yeah, Dedmon is actually a pretty decent defender.
Yes. So, I love getting Aldridge in these smash spots against shit teams with no one to defend him because it usually goes super poorly.
Yeah, I love it at 6:56 in the morning. I don't love it later.
I was going to say 6:56 at night, but 6:56 p.m. West Coast time is usually a time where I'll start hating it.
Yeah, exactly.
I just can't avoid it. And yeah, White at 5,400 looks pretty nice. I don't mind it at 6,700 on FanDuel, but it's clearly a better price tag on DraftKings.
Yeah, So out of the guys we've talked about so far, because it's a price point on DraftKings where there's a lot of options, clearly. I have White ahead of Satoransky, who I had ahead of Jackson and Teague.
I would have Satoransky ahead of White, but it's super close.
You are crazy.
I might just be making that up. I don't really know if that's true, but I think that I'm right. Where's White? What's their price?
54 on White, 52 on Satoransky.
Right, White. Yeah, I would rather have Satoransky.
Yeah.
It's like, 52-48. It's not.
No.
I will admit, I think that I have Derek White's rates a little low. What do you have him at point per minute for this?
Like 1.
I have him at 1, like on the dot.
My rates might be low too, but how many minutes do you have him at?
30.
Yeah, 34. That's why.
34.
I should probably go to like 32.
I should probably go to 32 as well. At which point I will prefer White to Satoransky.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do this. 30. Oh, this is going to be one of those days where you start seeing Patty Mills play he played 19 minutes, then 19, then 18, then 16. If I know the Spurs, Patty Mills plays like 28 minutes tonight. They do that shit a lot. Like a lot.
He's been since White came back, I think he's just like been purely the backup.
Yeah. Doesn't make me feel good. But there's your 18 minutes for Patty Mills. All right, so I've got, or 16 minutes rather. So yeah, I bumped White up to 32, at which point I will be getting him more than the field. The most important piece here is that this is a fantastic matchup for San Antonio, and Derek White is at 6% ownership, and DeMar DeRozan is at 6% ownership on DraftKings. That's really all you need to know. It doesn't really matter how they project, just play them. I mean, it matters how they project, but ownership is the piece that I think is more important in that one. I don't want to talk about this game. The Brooklyn Nets hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers. 117 implied total for the Nets. 108 for the Cavs. Hit that like button while you're here, by the way, people. Cavs defense stinks. No Zizic, no any real big men outside of Nance. And I guess if you want to count Kevin Love, but that is not a difficult center matchup if he's playing the 5. Pace down spot for Brooklyn. D'Angelo Russell is 9,100 on FanDuel, 7,900 on DraftKings, 35 on Yahoo. I really like Russell on DraftKings.
So do I. I hate it, but
yeah,
the price tag. I mean, we talked about it. Like with Dinwiddie coming back, with LeVert coming back, it makes Russell, like, worse isn't even the right word. It just makes him scarier.
Yeah, more volatile.
Yeah, but the price tag coming down in this matchup, it's really tough not to like him.
Yeah, his rates have not been that bad, like, since Dinwiddie's been back. So if he continues, like, I've got him in for 30 minutes. That's the scary part. He does need every one of those minutes, in my opinion. But if he's playing well, I expect him to close so long as the game is close, at which point I think that he gets to 30. I only have him at 9% ownership right now. I'll be over that number. And that one will make me sick.
Yeah. And something to keep in mind, because if you go and look at his recent minutes, they look awful. But the Nets have been in a lot of blowouts recently, one way or the other. Like they got their asses beat by Miami on Saturday. They beat the shit out of Dallas last game. The last two, like even Charlotte and Washington, like the Washington game was essentially a blowout. That was the game where Kenny Atkinson in the third quarter decided to start playing Jared Dudley to try and get them back in it.
Clearly.
Yeah, I mean, the Charlotte game was an 11-point game. San Antonio, like they haven't had a game finished within 10 points in their last 5. So, I still think that 30, 31 minutes from Russell is reasonable, assuming a competitive game.
Sure.
How many minutes do you have Dinwiddie at? I think that's
24.
Okay, so I think that's way low.
Way low?
Way low.
Okay, so I know that he played 25 in the most recent game. And I know that could have trended higher. or not the most recent game, second most recent game.
Yeah,
I guess.
20 in the most.
Yeah. So what do you have him for? 40? How way low can 24 be when you're about to tell me 28?
I think he can get 30. He played 15 minutes in the first half last game.
I don't disagree with you. I have a hard time projecting him for that.
Right. So, man, the Nets are such a mess.
Who do you take them from?
Right. That's what I was going to say is, so he played 15 minutes in the first half, but D'Angelo Russell played a total of 2 minutes and 45 seconds in the second quarter. So, like, if you were just going to take first half minutes and extrapolate to a full game, you would end up giving Russell 22 minutes.
Right. Like, I have Alan Crabb at 22. I have Karis LeVert at 28. I have Russell at 30. Like, I can probably take 2 more minutes from DeMarre Carroll. I have him at 24, and I can get Dinwiddie to 28. But
I think that's low on Carroll, though.
Well, then fucking
I don't know. I'm gonna end up
projecting OT, buddy, because I need those extra 25 then.
I'm going to end up going probably like 26 on Dinwiddie, 26 on LeVert.
26 on LeVert. Played 27 and 29 the last 2 games.
Yeah, well, he played like 20 and 18 the games before that. So
I think what we're trying to say here is that it's really difficult to project the Nets. Let me give. I want to see if I give Dinwiddie those extra 2 minutes. What happens? Uh, 8, 10. I mean, I would get like a small amount of Spencer Dinwiddie. I don't mind taking them from DeMarre Carroll because DeMarre Carroll is the second highest owned guy on DraftKings.
Yeah, I mean, I think Carroll's a good play though, so I don't really want to take them from him.
I don't know who else to take them from. I guess Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, I guess, probably can afford to lose a couple more. I'll give those right back to DeMarre Carroll. Get him back up to 24. I hate this damn team from a fantasy perspective. All this wiggle room and all I'm doing is basically saying, like, I like D'Angelo Russell the most, and I probably won't have much of the rest of these guys anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I just think Dinwiddie's a good play. Like, I have him behind I'd still rather play White. Like, he's another just guard in that $5,300 price range. But
Cossack, Carroll's not chalk. He just happens to be the second highest owned Brooklyn guy at 8%. So it's all relative. I'm like lounging back in my seat right now. I need to make myself bigger on the screen, make it look like I'm not sitting like a lazy asshole. All right, we're going to Cleveland. Pace up spot. We're starting with Kevin Love. 8,300 on fan. What?
I said we can also end with Kevin Love.
No, we can't.
Really?
I can't. Looks like this is going to get fun. 8,300 on FanDuel, 7,500 on DraftKings, 31 on Yahoo. I will have like 10 to 15% of Kevin Love.
I will have more.
Okay.
I mean,
how many minutes did you give him?
30.
Okay, so did I.
It's just such a good spot for him. And I mean, it's a Brooklyn front court that's just been that gives up monster games to opposing bigs. It's a great rebounder. It's a great scorer. He is like the entire offense. He's somewhere around like 1.4 fantasy points per minute since the start of last season without any of the good players on the floor that Cleveland has had over that time. Yeah, I don't know how not to like him at 7,500.
I mean, like, I'm double the field right now, so maybe I didn't explain myself the best there.
I mean, I have him actually, like, out of everyone we've talked about so far, I have him as the best play, like even ahead of Luka. Which, like, I like Luka more, but that's just how like my projections are shaking out.
Okay, we're in way different like landscapes here. Huh. Not. Take it for what it's worth, then, people. We both like Kevin Love. I like him twice the field. Adam is heavier than that. So if you're curious where we stand, at the very least, there's that. Larry Nance is 5,600 on FanDuel, 5,900 on DraftKings, $20 on Yahoo. I am going to have an overwhelming amount of Nance on FanDuel, but he is the chalk at 34% ownership. Are you not projecting him the same way that I am?
Well, I'm looking at DraftKings. So,
I mean, I'm 2.5 times the field on Nance at 5,900 right now. How many minutes do you have him in for? Because it's clearly not 32.
29.
Okay. Am I too heavy?
When's the last time Cleveland played?
3 nights ago, on March 3rd, when Nance played 32.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I mean, I guess 32 seems fine.
Right answer. I hate playing Larry Nance, but no real choice here today, I think. Unless you're a big Channing Frye getting a rotation guy today. I don't love that he's chalk on FanDuel at 3,400, but I mean, that's positions for you.
Power forward, I assume.
Yes. And then I like Clarkson, 5K on FanDuel, 5,300 on DraftKings, $19 on Yahoo. He's at 15% ownership on FanDuel. I'm right at that number, so I agree with it. And I don't mind having him at 5,300 on DK, but it's not an appealing spot. He's getting no ownership, so I like him as a flyer, but not sort of any bulk play.
Yeah, I mean, I have him behind every single 5,300 other guy we've talked about so far.
How many guys are there?
Teague, Dinwiddie, White, Satoransky, Jackson.
I have him ahead of everyone there except for Satoransky. And Jeremy Lamb is tops in that range.
Oh yeah, and Jeremy Lamb. You have Jordan Clarkson ahead of Derek White.
White's above him. I have Jordan Clarkson projected for 1.5 points more than him right now.
Do you have Clarkson playing 42 minutes?
28.
Okay, I'm at 26, but it wouldn't matter.
I felt like you looked through my soul when you looked up after you asked that question. Like, you guys, I don't want anybody to think that I'm advocating like a lot of Jordan Clarkson. I'd have him like 8%, and he's at 1% ownership. So
this is more I'm advocating a lot of Derek White.
Yeah. I'm going to take a look at White because I have him at 1 point per minute, but I have Jordan Clarkson at 1.03. So that's where I'm at. And I updated his rates today. So like that's not one that I need to go back to.
Yeah, I just updated his rates, and I have Clarkson at a point per minute. I just have him with like 6 less minutes than Derek White, and not playing the Hawks.
Yeah, the 2 extra minutes. This is a spot where that will close that gap pretty dramatically, I would imagine.
If I give him 28 minutes, I still have him behind every single guard that we've talked about.
Okay, well, fine. Continue to be wrong. Colin Sexton is getting 10% expected ownership on FanDuel right now, 5,200. Not sure that I want to go to that one.
Yeah. I thought you were about to say you liked him. I was going to ask how many guys on this team you actually like.
Just 3.
Yeah, okay.
2.5. It's not that I like Clarkson. I just like him more than the public by enough that I need to point it out.
You just like him more than the best value point guard on the slate. Sexton, I mean, the price is fine, but again, I have him behind Clarkson, who I have behind every other guard we've talked about.
I can't believe you're calling Derek White the best value point guard on the slate.
That we've talked about, at least.
No, we already talked about Satoransky.
Yeah. I can't believe you like Satoransky more than Derek White.
One of us will look really smart on that Satoransky one tonight.
I mean, Satoransky is my second favorite. I like him. Derek White is like I think the Derek White.
Last.
Yeah, I think the Derek White price tag is just like stupid.
Probably right. We'll find out when I see if I can pull up Wowie while I'm on here. Circle back to White. I don't think that I dug in here. Oh, since January 1st. When did he come back? Any idea?
No.
He's been back for a month.
I can tell you.
No, he's been back for 5 fucking games. Yeah. Okay, so I could use the All-Star break as a cutoff for that right now.
And he played a bunch in January.
Really? I felt like he was out all of January.
No, he played all of January. His last game was February 2nd, and then he came back the 22nd.
Oh, man, I felt like he was out for like 2.5 months.
Yeah, it felt that way.
Huh. Okay. All right, let's get Pau Gasol off just in case. All right, let's move on. I'll circle back to White when I get an answer that maintains my status. Alrighty. The Chicago Bulls hosting the Philadelphia 76ers. 110 implied total for the Bulls. 115.5 for the Sixers. Start in Chicago in a nice little pace up spot. Markkanen, 8,800 on FanDuel, 8K on DK, 39 on Yahoo. I'm going to be all over Lauri Markkanen again.
Yep.
Good.
Right there with you.
Right. Way to get on board. Now he's just, his rates have been fantastic since the deadline, or even just all of 2019.
Yeah. Have you won any
monster minutes too? What?
I asked if you had won any tournaments with Markkanen lately.
No.
Because I have. I think that makes him my guy.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That one stings, by the way. No, I didn't. I'd like to. Josh, it seems to me DK is overpowering the show. It's like, oh, by the way, I like him on FanDuel too. I feel like we're talking about both, but I guess I'll be a little more.
You talk about FanDuel and I talk about DraftKings. That's kind of how we always do it.
I thought so. I've pointed out every single thing that I liked on FanDuel so far, including... Oh, shit. There was somebody that was very specific to it. I can't remember who it was now.
Larry Nance?
Yep, there you go. Larry Nance. Last game. I'm in for Levine, too. 8K on FanDuel, 7,500 on DraftKings, 32 on Yahoo.
Yeah, he's fine. I have him pretty far behind Markkanen.
So do I. And then I'm going to have at least a little bit of Porter, but it's not a priority. Markkanen and Levine are really the only guys that I like a lot here.
Yeah, I imagine Porter comes up more on FanDuel than DraftKings.
He does. Price is better on DK, but positions really help on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch on anybody else here? I assume no.
No. $5,200. God, there are so many $5,200 to $5,400 guards on DraftKings.
It's insanity.
Yeah, I mean, I have done behind every one of the ones we've talked about so far, except for Jordan Clarkson.
Fuck off. All right. Sixers, Simmons, Butler, Harris, Redick, but Simmons, Butler, Harris. Sort through them on DK while I hop back to Wowie.
Okay. So I'll start with JJ Redick because I think that he is probably, I don't know where we have him projected ownership wise, but I assume
17 on FanDuel, or 17 on DK, 9 on FanDuel.
Yeah. So he was really popular last night, and then he made every 3-pointer he took almost. I think that he's a fine play on DraftKings at 4,900. Like, he's going to play around 34 minutes. It's a favorable matchup. There's no reason not to like Redick. I think people are going to overproject him because if you project his rates without Joel Embiid on the floor for the season, you get like a monster usage rate for him because that used to be the case. But since Tobias Harris came, the usage rate's down below 20%. So I think that he probably is overvalued by people, even though he's still a good play. I just think people are probably going to overvalue him.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to go to 17% Redick and have him be the second most owned guy on the Sixers tonight. But 4,900 it's a nice price tag for him.
Yeah, and I'm just basing what I had said on last night, where I I was actually surprised I ended up with like 20% on DraftKings, but someone had told me he was like 50% owned in like the $3,000 on DraftKings yesterday.
That's healthy.
Yeah, and it's a spot where I don't think that just because the quote unquote better players played a lot of him, it was a good play. But I expect that people will go right back to it. So I just think that's something to keep in mind.
All right. I've bumped up Derek White a little bit. I had his usage rate a little low. His assist rate was actually lower than what I had in there.
Yeah, mine too.
Which kind of surprised me.
I had his rebounding rate low and his usage rate low.
Yeah, so I bumped it up. I mean, I assume that I still prefer everybody that I said before, but he will grade out slightly better. So let me refresh this.
Why do you just keep reiterating that you're wrong?
Oh, I am now. See, this is how like such a little change has such a dramatic impact on everything. I have Derek White now pretty handily ahead of Clarkson and Satoransky.
There you go.
And all I did was slightly lower his assist rate, slightly raise his rebounding rate, slightly increase his block rate, and give him like an extra 1.5% of usage. And that was enough to basically double him compared to those guys.
Yeah.
The margins, people.
So JJ Redick has played 204 minutes without Embiid since the Tobias Harris trade, 20.3% usage. Whereas earlier in the season, if you ran those numbers, he was at like 25% or somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay. Yeah, I think. Oh God, Redick. Okay, what do you want to do with the rest of these guys then? Simmons, Butler, Harris. How do you want to rank them on DK?
I hate Jimmy Butler so much. So
I don't understand him since the like everything that all of his rates make him better than Tobias Harris on the surface. But every time that I look at a damn box score, Tobias Harris has more fantasy points than him.
Yeah. Is
Harris shooting like 75% from 3 and like that's what's sustaining him or something? Because I can't figure out how to get Tobias Harris to be ahead of Jimmy Butler based on everything that's happened on the floor except for fantasy output.
So in 273 minutes without Embiid since the trade, Harris has a 61.4% true shooting percentage.
Okay.
Or sorry, 64.8%, 61.4 effective field goal.
Hold on, I want to look and see what it is for the season, just to see if like how outlandish that is. You said true shooting was what?
64.8.
Okay, yeah. So he's shooting 64% in Philly. He was at 60.5 for the Clippers, and last year for the season, 56.5. So I don't expect him to continue to shoot 10% better in true shooting than he did last year. That seems unsustainable. So that does make me feel better about the way that I'm projecting these guys.
Yeah. The thing with him though is just he's playing so many freaking minutes.
Yes, I have all 3 of those guys in for 37 right now. Do you do anything like dramatically different to that?
I'm going like 38 on Simmons and Harris.
Okay.
Harris only played 34 last night, but he had top 40 in the prior 2 games.
So ultimately, rank them. Rank the 3.
Simmons, Butler, Harris, looking at DraftKings pricing.
Okay. I'm going to go Butler, Simmons, Harris. And the biggest gap is between 2 and 3. And it makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm sure we're going to get roasted for not having Harris first.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel good, but numbers are numbers.
Yeah, it's just you can't project him to continue to have that sort of shooting output. I don't ever touch shooting rates. That's the one thing that like I don't see that generally speaking as something that is going to be like I just have regress numbers over the course of, the last year and a half with recency being weighted more. I can't just think, oh, this guy's probably like a 45% 3-point shooter now. That is something that normally regresses itself, but
it's not like we're talking about like Buddy Hield, who is still developing as a player. Like Harris has been around forever.
26 years old.
Harris is only 26.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it feels like he's been in the league for 600 years.
Yeah, he's still been in the league for a while.
Josh expects Harris to regress every game. Yeah, do you know why? That's what regression is. The point of it all. The same reason Derrick Rose wasn't going to shoot 45% from 3 for the entire season. Look, Harris is fantastic. I don't suddenly think that he has 5% better true shooting now that he's on this team.
The weird thing with Harris, like, he's without Embiid since coming to Philadelphia, he's averaged 1.06 points per minute. It feels like he's averaged like 1.5.
Exactly. That's the craziest thing to me. He's at 1.08 FanDuel points per minute over the last 30 days. I think minutes are really clouding judgment a little bit.
Yeah, he's playing a ton.
Yeah, but it does feel like he's going for 45 every night. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to have all three of these guys, and I'll probably have more Butler than anybody else, and I'll hate myself for it.
I'm going to adjust my answer, by the way. So I still have Simmons 1, Butler 2, Harris 3. Well, actually, Redick 3.
Yeah. By the way, I also have Redick ahead of Harris.
Yeah. I just have Simmons a lot closer to Butler now than I did before.
Yeah, so Simmons and Butler are really close. Then there's a little bit of a gap to Redick and then to Harris.
What's Butler? Do you still have like the true shooting percentages for the season up? What's Butler at?
I have Basketball Reference open, so I can get to it pretty quickly. Jimmy Butler's true shooting this season for Philly is 58%. He was 57.9 in Minnesota.
So since the deadline, without Embiid on the floor, so we're talking 237 minutes, he's at 51.8%. So
yeah, that's outlandish.
He's the opposite of Tobias Harris, where
he hasn't been that low in true shooting since 2013-14 with the Bulls.
Right. So you can kind of just keep, especially when the price tag's down, just piling on Jimmy Butler, and eventually things are going to, normalize.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
And until then, we just, you have to take out a loan or something.
Yeah. Hope you have credit cards.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at right now. I can't do it. So fire up to Jimmy Butler. It's going to be great when it works out one day. It'll probably be the day I take off. It'll probably be Saturday when I don't play at all.
Yeah.
On FanDuel, it's Simmons and Butler at the top. Harris and Redick are both tied for me. But there's a gap between the two. So I treat them as essentially equal on FanDuel, and then Harris and Redick essentially equal. Harris, 18% ownership on FanDuel. Redick, 9%. Makes it easier. Similarly, Simmons, 19%. Butler, 11%. Makes it easier. Are you going to Amir Johnson tonight?
I hope not. But, yeah, like if I project him for 18 minutes, he at 3,400 or whatever he is. 3,100.
Do you think Bolden plays?
I don't know. I haven't. If Bolden plays, I don't want Amir Johnson.
Yeah, no chance whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't really want him if he doesn't, but I understand the play at least.
Yeah, he's 3,100 in 18 minutes. He probably gets you like 18 points.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to luck box 30 again.
Yeah. I was glad to go back and see that he played like 20 minutes last night, because when I saw his fantasy output, I was just like, shit, like I must have, really messed up and should have had way more.
Because you just assumed he played like 28 minutes.
Yeah, I assumed that he suddenly just was playing like a boatload of minutes, but no.
Yeah, I'm not super worried about that one at all. If he's out, if Bolden is out, then there's no problem with using Amir Johnson at that price tag. But just understand that you need him to get. Would you agree 30? That's the optimal scenario for him, or anybody in that range, really.
Yeah, 30 is like the minimum for whatever anyone's salary is. That's what I want.
Agreed. So
obviously,
be aware, like Amir Johnson's not. It's a really difficult proposition for Amir Johnson to get to 30 fantasy points in 20 minutes.
But again, that's kind of like why MME is better.
Yeah.
if I were hand building one lineup, I wouldn't really be able to play Johnson just because I'm trying to like get everything I can out of that one lineup.
Yeah.
Across a bunch of lineups, like he's still a good value play, and I'm able to rotate through enough mid-range and expensive guys to where I'll get the one that goes nuts. So you can take the 22 from Johnson or whatever.
Yeah, I have very little interest in Amir just because I don't know what my benefit is. Like, if I'm playing cash, I have no problem using Amir Johnson. Yeah. I don't necessarily think he helps me win a tournament.
I mean, it's what he gets you at other positions. Like, if no other value opens up, then I imagine I'll have a decent amount.
Very true. All right, let's move on. New Orleans Pelicans. Wait, didn't they just play? Yeah, this is home and home here. Pelicans Jazz.
Yep.
I feel like I just made that Jazz being in New Orleans joke.
EMAC did it on the pod last night, and I was just like, someone just said that.
What up, EMAC? Great minds think alike. 113.25 implied total for the Pels. 117.75 for the Jazz. A little bit of a pace-up spot here. Drew Holiday, 8,700 on FanDuel, 7,800 on DraftKings, $39 on Yahoo. I'll have a little bit. It's not as exciting as it used to be.
Why do I not see that?
What's up?
They played on the 4th, right?
I just made that joke.
Popcorn machine's struggling this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it was either the 4th or the 2nd.
It wasn't the 2nd.
Okay, then it was the 4th.
Because the 2nd was the final and Utah played Milwaukee.
Yeah, that makes sense. You would know.
I'm trying to forget it. Yeah, it's just not showing up on Popcorn. Okay.
Do you have any interest in Drew?
No.
Or even better, do you have any interest in anyone that's not named Alfred Payton?
All right, I got it up. I got the popcorn machine up now, so I can. Okay,
I just want popcorn right now.
Yeah, I'm so hungry right now. I just wanted to see what rotations looked like last game. Julius Randle's still playing 1 million minutes. He's my highest guy on New Orleans. And yes, I do have interest in Drew. Yes, I have interest in Payton.
Yeah, Payton's my favorite guy here. I don't have any problem going to Randle. I've got him in for 36 minutes. 9,500 on FanDuel is kind of a tough sell for me. He's the most expensive power forward. Like, there's no situation where I want him over Markkanen or Blake or Kevin Love or Aldridge. All of those guys are like $700 or more, less than him.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So I have him as my favorite play on New Orleans right now, but I don't even have him in the same ballpark as Love, Markkanen, Aldridge.
And even Blake?
Yeah, Blake. I have Blake ahead of it.
Yeah, so I can't justify Julius Randle on FanDuel in any way. On DK at 8,400, sure.
Yeah, and I was talking about DK, where like I like him at 8,400, but I just like all those other guys more by a lot.
I'd rather have Drummond. I'd rather have Blake. I'd rather have Gobert, Markkanen, Aldridge, Love. That's not to say anything about Randle in a vacuum, but it's everybody, man. It's been really difficult to recalibrate our minds to DK's pricing this season. I feel like it's flatter than it's ever been.
Yeah. No, it's funny because when like the deep dive article, I used to put a disclaimer at the top that I use DraftKings pricing because if I used FanDuel, I would end up writing about 100 different players. And this year it's been the exact opposite. Like I end up looking at FanDuel when I write it just because like I make a list and it has 46 players on it that I think are good plays, and then I can go to FanDuel and narrow it down.
Yeah, there you go. Alfred Payton, 6,400 on FanDuel, 5,400 on DK, 22 on Yahoo. Got him in for 32 minutes right now. He is my favorite play from this team. Well, you can make a case for Drew for 58 or 7,800 on DraftKings, but on FanDuel by a mile, it's Alfred Payton.
This should be fun. DraftKings, Alfred Payton or Derek White?
Derek White.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know if that's true, but I think it's true. Yes, it's Derek White. Derek, in the time that we've done this show, Derek White is now my second favorite point guard on DraftKings.
Okay.
You
might be higher on Derek White on it.
Oh my god. What a path. What a path. How do we get here? And all I did was increase his fantasy points give him 2 more minutes, I think, and then increase his fantasy points per minute by like 3%. And now he's just, the swings, man, are ridiculous. I just really like Alfred Payton today. He might be my favorite point guard on FanDuel. Let me check.
I have him behind White and ahead of every point guard we talked about in that price range on DraftKings.
I have him ahead of White on FanDuel. Only guy he's behind is Trae Young at 8,400.
I hate the matchup for him, but the price tag's just good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty brutal matchup for a guy who can't shoot.
That's a true statement. Speaking of the Utah side of this, I guess, pace up spot, great implied total. Are you doing anything with Anthony Davis? Do you expect him to score 3 fantasy points per minute or anything crazy?
So me and Emac talked about this on the podcast. The way I look at it is his price tag now, he's 6,700 on DraftKings. He's certainly at a point where he can give you a good score, but let's say he gets 2 fantasy points per minute, which obviously is more than you project him for, and it's more than he's going to average. Let's say he gets 2 fantasy points per minute, so he gets 44 fantasy points at 6,700. That's good. You wouldn't say no to it, except it's still probably not the highest score in his price range. So, and that's like as high as you can reasonably.
And that's what has to happen for it to be good.
Right, exactly. Like he has to have an insanely productive game that he is not going to repeat every day.
Yeah.
And it still ends up probably being like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. Anthony Davis was fine.
Same page. Fuck that dude. How do you think this shakes out? What does the next month for Anthony Davis look like? Do you think they shut him down at any point?
I would think that eventually he gets an injury.
Did you put air quotes on that? I wasn't looking at you.
I didn't, but my voice inflection was meant to imply it.
That's why I asked. I wasn't looking, so I didn't know. Okay, we're on the same page. Utah. This one's nuts. Face up 10-2 for Rudy Gobert on FanDuel. 8,100 on DraftKings. He is $2,100 cheaper on DK compared to FanDuel. He's $34 on Yahoo. Yahoo is the spot to get Rudy Gobert if you're interested. There are a lot of centers on Yahoo. I think 6 of my top 15 exposed guys on Yahoo were all centers. And that's running 150. So like basically the top end of center is just incredible. I will have some on DraftKings. No problem with it there. I will not be getting to him on FanDuel. That seems pretty difficult to do given everybody else's price, but I can't take Rudy Gobert for 8,100 if I can play 10 other dudes at center that I think are in better spots.
Yeah.
Again, Rudy Gobert in a vacuum has a very fantastic play on DraftKings, but can't justify it. I'll be going right back to Donovan Mitchell, 9,100 on FanDuel, 8,700 on DraftKings, 37 on Yahoo. How you feeling about Donnie Mitchell?
He's fine. I don't think I'll get that much of him. I think I'll just end up with more like D'Angelo Russell and Kemba on DraftKings, and then going down to like Derek White. Oh, and
Derek White, woo!
And Luka. Give me 9,100 Luka over 8,700 Mitchell.
Speaking of people that are named Don, have you seen Don Nelson lately?
No, I have not.
You need to, first and foremost, look up pictures of Don Nelson right now. He has been, I assume that he's been going to like the Bill Walton School of Aging. He's just like a walk around stoner now, and admitted it in an NBA interview.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I've been smoking a lot of pot. It's just like, okay. He looks fantastic. Just long ass hair. He doesn't look anything like that. He doesn't look anything like he did when he coached.
Yeah, no, I would have thought he was like a wrestler. Like you could have put like Don Nelson's face and told me he was Ric Flair, and I would be like, okay.
Yeah, he is. Everything has changed. So, just for people that aren't super familiar with him, on the screen right now is what Don Nelson used to look like. Just like a normal dude. This is Don Nelson now.
He looks like one of the Bridges, like Jeff or
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. He looks like he could be like a crime boss in a like a Jason Statham movie, but also like a stone. Like he's wearing like a rope necklace or something in this picture. I don't know. I don't know how this person became. I don't know how this happened so late in life, but kudos to Don Nelson for going out like a gangster. Anyway, so I just had to bring it up. Yeah. I'll have a little bit of Favors. I'll have a little bit of Rubio, a little bit of Jay Crowder. I mean, maybe more than a little bit of Jay Crowder at 4,700. Where do you stand on these guys?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Gobert is my favorite play from the team, but Jay Crowder closed out last game, played 32 minutes in this matchup. I have him at 30 minutes here. 4,700 is pretty cheap for him. I'm fine with Rubio. Like I'm fine with everyone, like Crowder, Ingles, Favors, Rubio. It's an appealing matchup, and I'll rotate through those guys.
Yeah.
Gobert is the one that I imagine I get the most of, though.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
I mean, how he's 8,100.
Yeah, I know, and I think we've established. Okay. Would you rather have Andre Drummond or Rudy Gobert?
Rudy Gobert.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have them as well. It's a little bit closer than I would have expected, but I would have Drummond. What about Blake or Gobert? Did you answer? I couldn't hear you if you answered.
Gobert.
Really?
Actually, I guess I have Blake like a little bit higher.
Markkanen or Gobert?
Markkanen.
Aldridge or Gobert? Love or Gobert?
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, never mind. I was a minute short on Griffin and Drummond, so your point stands.
What was that? I didn't hear you.
I said that you accidentally were right one time.
I loved seeing the wheels turn like, oh, how do I flip this in my favor? I don't have it. All right, moving on. Phoenix Suns hosting the New York Knicks. Suns 113.75 implied total. Their defense is 8% worse than average over their last 15 games. And yet the Knicks still have a 110.25 implied total. Luke Cornett now back in the good graces of Dave Fizdale, I guess. We'll start on the Phoenix side. 8,600 for Devin Booker on FanDuel, 8,100 on DraftKings, 36 on Yahoo. I'll have a little bit of Booker. I'll have some Oubre on DraftKings, but I am not prioritizing any real part of the Suns.
Yeah, I agree with you there. 3,800 Bridges is fine too, especially if value doesn't open up. It's not exciting. It's just a guy. But yeah, like Booker's another one. Booker and Ayton both. In a vacuum, I think that they're good. I think that on DraftKings they're underpriced, but there's 84 underpriced guys on DraftKings today, and you have to figure out how to prioritize them. And I don't think Booker or Ayton end up being at the top of my list.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just too hard. Too much else out there. All right, Knicks. DeAndre Jordan expected to play today, per Fizdale.
Good.
He is still listed as questionable, but the quote from Fizz is, so everybody has it. Fizdale said that DeAndre Jordan has made solid progress in his recovery from the ankle injury, and there's a, quote, good chance he'll play on Wednesday against the Suns. So I don't think that he just gets like a ton of run in that scenario, but again, it's the Knicks, so we have no idea. I gave him 22 minutes. I think he plays like the inverse now.
Yeah, I mean,
at least for this one.
I have him at 24, but like either way, it makes he's irrelevant. Mitchell Robinson's irrelevant. No, Vonleh's irrelevant. Yep.
Is anyone relevant to you? I got a couple.
Even Cornett, like if Von Lee's going to play minutes at the 4 now, Cornet becomes less appealing.
Well, Cornet becomes less appealing at whatever minutes you have in, which have no tie to the truth.
Correct.
And that is not a slight at you in this particular instance.
The caveat there was if Noah Vonleh plays at the 4.
Yeah.
Noah Vonleh might just not play. I don't know.
Yep. The front court rotation for the Knicks is basically like they will play anywhere between 10 and 30.
Yeah. I saw I don't remember who it was on Twitter, but someone had tweeted a gif of something like Kermit the Frog going nuts or something. And said me when I'm predicting Knicks minutes, and someone replied that I think the response was from someone that worked for a Basketball Monster, but they replied and was just like, you don't predict Knicks minutes, you guess.
Yeah. There is no prediction. The error bars are monstrous. I don't mind Dennis Smith for 6,900 on FanDuel. That makes me sick to my stomach. I don't mind Moutier for 5,300 on FanDuel. That also makes me sick to my stomach. Damian Dotson for $4,300 on FanDuel, I feel okay about.
Yeah. I would say that Dotson is my favorite play from the Knicks.
Yeah.
With as much confidence as I just said it with. Moutier at 47 on DraftKings would be a really interesting tournament play to me because, again, the minutes are all over the place, but essentially if Dennis Smith Jr. plays poorly or if Moutier plays well, Moutier can get to like 26 minutes. The problem or the reason that I still won't really be getting there is that there are like 8 guys at 5,200 that are good plays.
Yeah. In this particular case, just stay away from ownership on the Knicks. There's no benefit.
Stay away from the Knicks.
Oh, yeah, that'll work too. Speaking of, go to Sacramento. Sacramento Kings are hosting the Boston Celtics. 115. Is this right? Did I do this again? This one might actually be right.
I have Celtics as 1-point favorites.
Well, that explains a lot. They are 2-point favorites.
Yeah.
The Kings are not favorites, is where I'm going with this. 113.25 implied total for the Kings, 115.25 for the Celtics. Celtics coming off a big victory, righting the ship, so to speak, against the Warriors last night in Oracle, a place where the Warriors have been losing more than I would have ever expected. I really like Buddy Hield for 7,200 on DraftKings. He is popular. I like Bogdanovich a little bit on DK. He is popular. Other than that, I don't have a ton of interest in the Kings today. What say you?
Yeah, I don't think I'll get to that much Hield either. I like him. He's obviously playing really, really well. It's just not a good matchup, and there are so many options on the slate. Like I have Hield for almost 40 DraftKings points, like 38, but I just still don't think I get to a lot of him. I have Bogdanovich as my top play from Sacramento, and the only guy that I think I'll really end up getting a lot of.
This is a really tough spot for the Kings. The only benefit for them right now is the fact that this is a back-to-back, but it's not like the travel from San Francisco to Sacramento is really that difficult.
Yeah.
Did you see anybody out last night? You go hunting for Celtics or Warriors?
Yeah.
I watched one of the Cavs-Warriors game, like finals games, at some bar in San Francisco. That was fun. Nice. I was like, hey, we should probably go like closer to something that's going to be interesting. My wife was like, why? I was like while we're there, the Warriors could win the NBA title, and I think that this would be really fun to be around. So let's think about it. But
yeah, I'm thinking about going to the Nuggets Warriors game on Friday because I feel like that should be a really fun game.
Yeah, that would be sweet. All right, let's talk Boston. Kyrie, 9,400 on FanDuel, 9,300 on DK, 41 on Yahoo. I have some interest in Kyrie at 9,400 on FanDuel. More than the field, at least.
Yeah, I really like that FanDuel price tag.
Like, I'd rather have Kyrie than Kemba on FanDuel. I'd slightly prefer Kyrie to Ben Simmons, $500 cheaper. And then after that, you can make a case for Trae Young, and then it falls off for me. I have Kyrie ahead of everybody else until I get all the way down to Alfred Payton.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
After that, it's the typical Boston thing. A little bit of Horford is okay. Price is finally climbing back up. I don't mind getting a little bit of Jason Tatum. Gordon Hayward is 3,900 on DraftKings, so I will have some of that as well. Don't expect him to drop 50 again.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Okay, cool. Close it out. This team, man. The Los Angeles Lakers are hosting the Denver Nuggets. 110.5 implied total for the Lakers, 115.5 for the Nugs. Kuzma out. There's more than that. Lance questionable. Tyson Chandler questionable. Brandon Ingram questionable. The Ingram one is really a problem. I have him in right now, but that'll mess stuff up really bad if he's out. What do you want to do with this Lakers team? Because I can't get to really... Well, like I can get to a couple guys because of their price discrepancies. Is JaVale the best play on the Lakers today?
Yep.
Okay.
Even though he sucked the other day,
yeah,
that was frustrating.
4,300 on FanDuel, 3,700 on DraftKings. Gonna have a hard time not having a decent amount of JaVale McGee. They simply just don't have anybody else to play the 5.
Although last game they had no one else to play the 5, and he played 13 minutes.
I mean, Kuzma played 30-something minutes.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So now they really only have like centers, and I don't think that this is the time that they're going to break out LeBron at the 5.
Right.
Feels like a little bit of extra effort, although that's sort of what they would have to do to have a shot. Right. I don't get the sense that they're going to do that.
And the thing with McGee is, maybe he doesn't play 24 minutes, but at 3,700, I project him for 18 minutes. I get him as a perfectly fine play.
Right.
If I project him for more than that, I get him as a good play.
Yeah, like I gave him 26 minutes, but it's not changing my path to what I want to do with him. Like, it's just opportunity is there. If Tyson Chandler gets ruled out, it's even easier. Not that I think that Tyson Chandler is just going to soak up a ton of minutes here, but it's just one less body. And if Ingram is out, good. Who knows? I mean, they need to play a real center against Jokic, or Jokic is going to have 800 points.
He's going to have 800 points anyway.
You would think. Well, he might have 800 assists.
Yeah.
I don't mind Rondo on DraftKings, 6K. I don't mind Reggie Bullock for 4,200 or 4,500 on FanDuel. That one is significantly less appealing since he sucks. But what do you want to do with Josh Hart at 3,300?
I mean, if Ingram's out, what did you say?
Avoid it.
Yeah, I mean, if Ingram's out, then I like it.
Yeah. I don't have Lance in right now, but like, there's a chance that Lance plays like 30 minutes tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of important news that won't feel important.
Yeah, and we won't have that before lock, I'm sure. So that should be fun. Anything could happen. Like, would you at this point now for the Lakers? Would you be surprised if like Mo Wagner played 24 minutes tonight instead of JaVale?
Nope, not at all. I was actually going to say that.
Yeah. Like, I gave Muscala 18 minutes here. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And we probably won't know. Unless Ingram gets ruled out at shoot-around, which they probably won't have. On a back-to-back, right?
They didn't
play
play
yesterday? The 2 days ago?
Oh, wait, no. Did they play? They did not play yesterday. They played 2 days. 2 days ago it was Ingram. Yesterday it was George.
Yeah. Okay, so they will have a shoot around then today. Pay attention to that. Nuggets side. Pace up. Fantastic defensive matchup. Great implied total. Jokic is 10-9 on FanDuel. 10-6 on DK. 49 on Yahoo. I like him, but it's like mildly risky because he might play 26 minutes because they beat the brakes off of the Lakers.
Well, and also, I mean, there's just so much opportunity cost to the position.
There is.
Like I love Jokic. He's my favorite guy to pay out for.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of centers.
Yeah. I prefer Jokic to Towns.
Yes,
if I'm looking at just like all pay up options. Well, okay, we didn't. This is amazing, and I didn't even realize we didn't do it. We didn't even say LeBron's name.
Yeah, I thought it, but it's like I like him. It's just that he's so like on draft. I think he's probably better on FanDuel because of the position.
He's 12-7.
Yeah, that's rough. But I mean, you can drop a guy, so you can still get there. But like on DraftKings, I think he's a good play at 11-3, but he's $2,200 more than Luka. He's just so much more expensive than so many guys. I mean, DeMar DeRozan has small forward eligibility on DraftKings at 8,200, so over $3,000 less expensive than LeBron. On a slate where right now we don't really have any quality value, it just makes it really, really difficult.
I'm with you. Do you like anything from Denver with any sort of priority? Paul Millsap at $7K on FanDuel, Will Barton at $59, Jamal Murray.
Yeah, like Jokic, but beyond Jokic, $5,600 Will Barton seems fine. But yeah, I don't know. Then I hate spots like this where like it's a really appealing matchup, but Denver just has so many guys in their rotation right now, and nobody plays huge minutes. So in the context of a full slate, I don't really get there that much.
Okay. Yeah, I'll rotate through a couple guys, but no priorities here.
Right. Yeah, like I don't have a problem with Jamal Murray. He clearly can beat $6,200 in this spot, but at the same time, how often does Jamal Murray outscore that entire group of $5,300 guards by enough to justify $1,000 in salary?
We've had two separate people mention Isaiah Thomas in the YouTube chat. Where you landed on that one?
Did I miss something?
Nope. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'd play Isaiah Thomas in a showdown of this game.
I mean, I probably would because it's like if he gets 20 minutes.
Dick.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't play showdown.
Neither do I. I'm just saying, like Isaiah Thomas at least is capable of producing if he gets on the floor for more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, I wanted you to be on my side with that one, just as let my cockiness shine through. I cannot advocate for Isaiah Thomas on FanDuel and DraftKings. No. I got nothing else. I think we're done.
Yep.
90 minutes? I think that's pretty good for a 10-game slate.
Yeah, not bad. I'm so excited to go back to sleep.
Well, first things first, you need to thrive. So, everybody hit that like button while you're here. And use the promo code NBA Strategy for 50% off your first month if you want to join us. You go to bit.ly/Osimo. That's not how you spell it. You can get $10 on your first $10 deposit, 20 on 100, and 50 on 200. Alrighty, time to look at some Thrive props. This should be fun. Remember, people, Friday, Adam and I are going to start our head-to-head contest, best of 7 series, so that I can get a free t-shirt from Thrive. Adam will have no clothes.
Fortunately, all I do is win tournaments, so I can buy some.
Again, things. Alrighty, first guy up. I'm not going to Luka.
I feel like they missed, and like they could have such creative props on Luka.
Like what?
I don't know, like points plus rebounds plus assists.
Oh, you mean better props, not like
not
the way that you said it. I was just like, what are we gonna do? Like transition buckets plus what? Where are you going with this? There's 5 categories. It would be interesting.
Back threes.
I'm surprised they don't have turnovers.
But okay, so like that, they could do a rebounds plus assists plus points plus turnovers and set it at like 60.
Yeah, it'd be fun. All right, let's start this off. Who's the first guy up on the list? This one's fun. You get 105 points for the over. The total is 13.5. How do you feel about Andre Drummond's rebounds? Because that one seems a little low to me.
I have him at 17.
17.4 for me, so Maybe
Wow,
maybe I'm just trying to take you off my scent for Friday. The Pistons play downplay Drummond today.
yeah,
Slow play my plays for Friday.
yeah, I'd be over on Drummond.
Yeah, he would be one of my 10 without question. All right, we'll do it since that way you won't have the opportunity to pick it. Luka Doncic, 5.5 assists. Since I know you'll just get to it eventually. You only get 85 points for the over. So this one to me is a stay away. I've got him at 6.8, and I don't think that he would be in one of my top 20 or one of my top 10.
Yeah, I have him at 6.9, but because of the scoring, I agree.
Okay. Kemba Walker. That's a guy we don't talk about a lot in Thrive. 31.5 points plus assist. And you get 105 points for the over.
Was it points plus assists?
Yep, 31.5 is the number.
$33.7.
I've got 32.5, so I'm definitely taking the over. I'm above it, and you get shading. So I assume that that would be one of the 10, but one of the later ones.
Yeah.
Alrighty, what else do we have that looks like it would be fun? If you have any that are catching your eye, just shout them out.
So I just thought it was interesting. So like on DraftKings, Russell's $400 or Walker's $400 more than Russell, but the Thrive prop is exactly the same for Kemba and for Russell, except Russell gets rebounds.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I'm plugging in Russell right now. 100 points for the over. Yeah, I'm going to be playing the over on this one. I've got him at 35.1.
Yeah, I have 35.8. So I guess I would get there before I got to the Kemba one.
Yeah, so would I. Rudy Gobert, points plus rebounds. Another guy we don't talk about all that often. Even action on the prop. The line is 28.5. Smells like an over to me.
Points plus rebounds?
Yes.
Yeah, I have 33.
32. All right, you pick the last one.
All right, let's close it out with...
There aren't any that stand out to me as like obvious ones that you're going to pick. Like you're not going to take Aldridge 1.5 blocks.
Right. I thought about it, but no, let's close it out with DeAndre Ayton. 30.5 points plus rebounds plus assists, 105 points for the under.
Ooh, this is a stay away for me.
I have him at 33.4.
Ooh, okay.
But I think it would end up being a stay away because you get more points for the under, and because I have him projected for 33 minutes, and there's not really any chance he goes above that, but he can certainly go under it.
Sure. I have him at 30.8, so I'm right at that number. So he likely wouldn't be one of my top 10. Pay attention to this one on Friday, people, because we are starting the best of 7 series, which will just be a 4-game sweep. Get your brooms out. Get your brooms out. I was like, dude, you took a DraftKings cup with you? And I was like, oh, that came in like the swag bag for the final.
Yeah. Yep, I'm wearing a shirt from the swag bag. I'm drinking out of a cup from the swag bag.
Katie wears a draft shirt from the FanDuel final. Like that's the most comfortable shirt I've ever worn. So crazy.
Yeah, those draft shirts are comfortable.
Yeah. That's it, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We will have the deep dive written by Laffy coming out in the early afternoon. Deeper dive from 4:45 to 6 o'clock today. We're going an extra 15 minutes because of the big slate. And then Spags and Fast Eddie closing you out on Live Before Lock. Tonight, Ben Raza, Jason Roslin, 9 o'clock. Golf, Live Before Lock for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Tune into that one. I will be on the other side of the virtual glass playing video games while they talk about golf for an hour. Adam, anything else?
Nope.
Alrighty, we're out of here, everybody. Thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow.